Hey guys, it's Serena. Welcome back to Fantastic Korean Dishes, where we cook up simple but delicious Korean meals. Today, we're cooking up a household favorite. Now, when I was growing up in Canada, whenever we had guests over, my parents would always prepare LA kalbi. So for me, I always get these like nice, fond childhood memories whenever I eat it. The flavor of LA kalbi is not only savory but also sweet, so it pretty much satisfies any palate, from kids to adults. Everyone loves LA kalbi, so I'm really excited to share this recipe with you. Let's get cooking. So today's recipe for the marinade is good for 3 kilograms of kalbi or 3 kilograms of short ribs. I'm going to be using half for 1.5 kilograms. This is about 1.5 kilograms, and then save the half for tomorrow because it is quite a big batch. But I'm giving you this recipe because oftentimes people cook up LA kalbi whenever they have like lots of people come over, they grill it on a barbecue. So yeah, this is 1.5 kilograms. What you want to do is go to your nearest supermarket or butcher's, ask them short ribs that are cut across the bone. The important thing is when you bring them back home, you do want to prep it a little bit. You want to give it at least a night to drain the blood. That way you won't get that gamey flavor when you eat it. So I will teach you how you can prep the meat. It's thin layer right on the bone, and this is called the silver skin. You want to remove that because when you eat the ribs, this is just going to be really, really tough to eat, and that's just going to make the meat a lot more tender. So there are several theories of why it's called LA kalbi. One is that because the meat is cut laterally, they took the two letters L and A to make it LA kalbi. The second is that because it's so loved by Korean immigrants in LA, and it's such a popular dish, especially in North America, that's how it got its name. And then on the opposite side of the meat, you're going to get this hard sort of white part here. You also want to cut that off. So in Korea, whenever there's like a special occasion, like a birthday or a holiday, people tend to eat a lot of beef. You remember our last episode, we made 떡갈비. So 떡갈비 is another traditional dish that you would put out for guests. Same with LA galbi. I guess just because beef is a lot more expensive than sort of any other meat. So it's kind of kept for special occasions. Okay, I think we are all set. Before we make the marinade, you want like a container, something like this, something that's big and where you can lay pretty much the kalbi flat into the container. So I'm just going to line them up flat into this one. This is a perfect size. If you have one with a lid, that's even better because you do want to keep it overnight. We're going to put lots of Asian pear into the marinade, so it's going to tenderize the meat. And you do want to give it a minimum of a few hours. Today I'm going to be using Asian pears. I learned a new way to peel this Asian pear. I'll teach you how to do it. You cut about 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeters of thickness just on the top, like this. It sits down like that. And then you use the tip of your knife to just peel. You start from the top and you make your way down following the curve of the pear. So if you can't get your hands on Asian pears, you can use pineapples or kiwis to also tenderize and make the marinade a lot sweeter. But with kiwis, I find that they are a lot stronger in terms of how they tenderize the meat. So you probably want to use about half the amount of Asian pears. Voila! Okay, we're just going to mix everything in the blender, so you don't need to pay too much attention to how you cut it, just if you cut them into large chunks. Make sure you take out the core because that's quite hard, and it also has the seeds. For this recipe, we're going to need 8 cloves of garlic. These are nice and clean. You do want to cut the ends off right here. It's usually just on one side. Next, we're going to need a whole onion, peeled and washed. I'm just going to cut it in half, but again, this sort of has like the hard part at the end, which I'm just going to cut off. And again, cutting it in half. And then I'm going to cut them in thirds. We just want big chunks so we can put them in the blender. All right, so we're going to put in the onions. Oh, another thing, it's great if you have a big blender like this. I think this one can fit about 2 liters or more. Sometimes I put in a little bit more. But if you have a small blender at home, just divide the ingredients in 2 or 3 parts, and you should be good. Next, we're going to put the garlic and the pears. And then we're going to add about 700 milliliters of water. That's about 3.5 cups. So I'm going to close up the lid. Okay. Let's take. It's good. Lots of onion flavor and a bit sweet. We're going to pour in what we just blended. Now we're going to put in our seasoning. So we're going to use soy sauce, 1 cup of soy sauce. Next, you can use any type of sweetener, but today I'm going to be using brown sugar, about 1 cup. Next, about 2 tablespoons of vegetable umami. Now, vegetable umami is going to deepen the flavor. So think of this as like a vegetable broth. Next, we're going to put in some soju. So alcohol is great to just get rid of that gamey flavor. I like to use it in a lot of meat marinades. So we're going to need about 1/3 of a cup. So that's about 50 milliliters. Now, if you don't have soju at home, you can use any other cooking rice wine, or if you just have alcohol at home that's not sweet, you can also use it as an alternative. Yeah, so you don't want to be putting any cocktails in here. Okay, next, about 1/2 teaspoon of ground pepper and 1 tablespoon of sesame seed oil. We're going to whisk it all together. So it's really easy to mix everything together because everything's pretty much in liquid form. The only thing you want to pay attention to is the sugar, because you do want to make sure that all the sugar is dissolved. Okay, we're going to pour the marinade all over the meat. And you want to pour in a generous amount so everything is soaking into it. This is going to be so yummy. The meat is like almost fully submerged in the marinade. And then I'm going to take a tong and just gently lift each layer just to make sure that the marinade is going under the meat as well. Last one. Okay, and then just using the tongs, you can also kind of pat down the meat. And unfortunately, I don't have a lid for this container, so I'm just going to be using saran wrap. I personally think putting it in the fridge and letting it sit overnight really ensures like the tastiest kalbi. But if you don't have a day to make it, that's fine. All you need is a minimum of about 3 hours. Then you know that the marinade has really soaked into the meat and it has tenderized. So it's gonna be not only very flavorful, but also very tender. So we're gonna put this in the fridge and I'm gonna grab the one that's been sitting for a few hours. Line them up. Okay, it is sizzling. Oh, that smells so good. So it looks like the bottom of it has browned. So I'm gonna flip it over. And if you start to see a bit of blood on the surface, just flip it over one more time. Now you also want a nice sharp pair of scissors, and I'm just gonna cut a line right through, right between the bones. And that's just gonna make it easier to eat. This beef is really, really tender. They are done. Look how delicious that looks. Okay, let's have a bite. Now it is my favorite time where we get to try out what we made. So with short ribs, you really just have to get your hands messy. There's no other easy way around it. Take a bite of this. Oh my gosh. So tender, so juicy. And the marinade is so flavorful. Nice and sweet, and you can really taste the soy sauce. I really need kimchi. This is amazing with kimchi and a bowl of rice. So good. And there you have it, a recipe for LA galbi that you can easily make at home. It is so delicious and your guests will want more, I promise you. Give it a try at home. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with another fantastic Korean dish next time. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon. Bye!